Did you know that leprechauns were originally not the mischievous gold-hoarding creatures we see today, but something far more sinister? The original legends paint a picture of beings deeply tied to the dark, mysterious forces of the Irish wilderness. Beings that were feared, not merely tricked. Welcome to the enchanting world of Irish folklore, a realm where the lines between myth and reality blur, and stories have the power to shape the very landscape. Among these tales, few are as enduring or as complex as the legend of the leprechaun. Far from the jolly, pint-sized figures of popular culture, the true leprechaun is a symbol of Ireland's rich storytelling tradition, one filled with magic, mystery, and a touch of darkness. These beings, small in stature but immense in power, were believed to be the guardians of ancient treasures hidden deep within the earth. But their role in Irish folklore goes far beyond gold and mischief. They are the embodiment of Ireland's ancient, untamed spirit. Over time, the leprechaun has been transformed into a playful, even comical figure in popular culture, a far cry from its original portrayal in Irish mythology. This sanitized version of the leprechaun is a shadow of its former self, stripped of the fear and respect it once commanded. The true nature of these beings is far more complex and indeed, far more terrifying. In the original tales, leprechauns were solitary creatures, deeply connected to the ancient lands of Ireland. They were known for their cunning, their quick temper, and their ability to outwit even the most clever of humans. To encounter a leprechaun was not a guarantee of wealth, but a risk of being led into a trap from which there might be no escape. The history of leprechauns is as old as Ireland itself, with stories dating back centuries. According to legend, leprechauns were originally part of the Tuatha De Danann, a mystical race that inhabited Ireland long before humans arrived. These beings were skilled in magic and craftsmanship, and it is said that the leprechauns were the shoemakers of their people, crafting shoes for otherworldly beings. But it wasn't just their craftsmanship that made them famous. Leprechauns were also known for their vast wealth, which they guarded fiercely. They would hide their gold in secret places, often burying it deep in the earth, and only revealing its location to those who could catch them. However, catching a leprechaun was no easy task. They were masters of deception, capable of tricking even the most vigilant pursuer. Throughout the centuries, countless tales have emerged about encounters with leprechauns. Some speak of fortunate souls who outwitted the creatures and gained great wealth, while others tell of those who were led into the wilderness, never to return. The leprechaun was seen as both a blessing and a curse, depending on how one approached them. One of the most famous stories tells of a young man named Cormac, who lived in a small village near the forests of County Donegal. Cormac had heard the stories of the leprechauns and, driven by greed, set out to capture one and claim its gold. For days he wandered the forest, following strange sounds and glimpses of movement in the underbrush. Finally, on the seventh night, he caught sight of a small figure sitting by a stream, meticulously polishing a pair of shoes. Carefully, Cormac approached the creature, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew the rules. If he could catch the leprechaun and keep his eyes on him, the creature would have to reveal the location of his gold. But as he lunged forward, the leprechaun looked up with a sly smile, his eyes gleaming in the moonlight. Cormac grabbed the leprechaun with a fierce grip, not daring to look away for even a moment. The leprechaun struggled, but Cormac held firm, demanding to know where the gold was hidden. The leprechaun, with a look of feigned defeat, pointed to a distant tree on a hill, where he claimed the treasure was buried. Cormac, still clutching the creature, made him lead the way. As they walked, the forest seemed to grow darker and more twisted, the trees closing in around them. Cormac could feel the weight of the night pressing down on him, but he was determined. Finally, they reached the tree, an ancient, gnarled oak that stood alone on the hill. The leprechaun pointed to the base of the tree and, with a grin, told Cormac that the gold lay buried beneath it. Eagerly, Cormac released the leprechaun and began to dig, his hands clawing at the earth with desperation. But as he dug deeper and deeper, something strange began to happen. The earth grew cold and dark, and a chill ran through Cormac's bones. The wind began to whisper in a language he could not understand, and shadows danced around him, growing longer and more menacing. Panic set in, but he kept digging, convinced that the treasure was just within reach. Finally, his hands struck something solid. He paused, heart racing, and cleared the dirt away to reveal a stone. Not gold, not treasure, but a cold, unmarked stone. Confusion turned to terror as the whispers grew louder, and he realized too late that he had been deceived. He looked up, expecting to see the leprechaun gloating, but the creature was gone, vanished into the night. The realization hit him like a blow. He had been led into a trap. The darkness around him grew heavier, and the forest seemed to close in, the very trees mocking his greed. Desperately, Cormac tried to find his way back, but the forest had changed. The paths twisted and turned, leading him deeper into the shadows. His fear turned to despair as he realized he was hopelessly lost, the leprechaun's laughter echoing in his mind. He ran until he could run no more, collapsing on the cold ground, his fate sealed by his own greed. Cormac was never seen again. The villagers searched for him, but the forest gave no clues, and the leprechaun's grin was the only trace left behind. The tale of Cormac serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of greed and the cunning nature of the leprechauns, beings who are far more than just myths. The legend of the leprechaun is more than just a tale of gold and trickery. It is a reflection of the deep connection between the Irish people and their land, a connection that is both beautiful and terrifying. These stories remind us that the world is full of mysteries, and that sometimes the smallest creatures can hold the greatest power. Leprechauns are not just symbols of luck and wealth. They are complex beings who embody the unpredictable nature of the world around us. In their stories, we find lessons about greed, respect, and the dangers of underestimating the unknown. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the haunting legend of the leprechaun. What do you think about these ancient beings? Do you have a favorite leprechaun story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos on Irish myths and legends. Stay curious and remember, be careful what you wish for.